Hey, do you know what this is? This is an ideal client. Now, it may seem like ideal clients are unicorns, right? Because everyone talks about them, but I haven't really seen many of them around, right? Some of your clients might be a little bit of a pain if you're being honest. But how do you get more ideal clients? And is it even possible? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for scale tip number 5. So, Ollie here, by the way, if you haven't watched any of these before, and it's my daily show where I help you, the six-figure business owner, grow your business and take it to the next level. So how do we get more of these? How do we get more ideal clients? Well, in my experience, through helping thousands of entrepreneurs build businesses, I realized a few things. All right, there's 2 things you have to do in order to get more ideal clients into your life. One of them's maybe quite obvious, the other one not so much. So let's start with the more obvious one. First of all, you have to become an ideal client magnet. Right? This is what we're aiming to do when you're trying to attract ideal clients. So there's 2 parts to this, 2 parts to becoming an ideal client magnet. Number 1 is ensuring that all of your messaging, every piece of messaging that you put out there to the world, has been specifically crafted in order to perk up the ears of ideal clients. So in other words, first of all, figure out exactly who you would love to help. Right? Who would you love to help? What is an ideal client to you? Because an ideal client for me is going to be different to an ideal client for you. Now, when we think about this stuff, usually we think of in terms of what would that client want, right? So in my business, one of my businesses, I help people sell on Amazon, right? So my ideal client would be someone who wants to build an Amazon business, if I was just thinking about what they want. But you have to go a little bit further into this, okay? So you also have to think about their attributes. For example, they follow advice, they're enthusiastic, they're hardworking, they're serious, they're willing to invest in their education, and they have done so in the past. See, now we're starting to get to those more intangible qualities that are really important that make up an ideal client, because you want somebody who's really easy and fun to work with. Okay, so every piece of messaging you put out there should be created to attract this type of person. So for example, if you want to attract people who are real, genuine, and are cool to be around, then you want to make sure your messaging, your content reflects that exact same thing. You want your messaging, your content, your videos to be raw, to be genuine. Right? If you're standing in front of like a rented Lamborghini and you're being all fake and you're just showing off all this flashy stuff, then you're going to attract people who want all the flashy stuff and probably don't want to do too much work to actually get it. Right? So that's the first thing you have to do. Right? Put messaging out there to attract the real type of person who will be an ideal client. The second thing you have to do, and this is slightly less obvious, is to become an ideal client yourself. Now, why would I say that? And what does it really mean? Well, have you ever noticed that the people around you, in your business life, in your personal life, even in your dating life, kind of reflect what you are? They kind of reflect what you are. There was one point when I was starting to get irritated with people who were thinking about joining some of my programs, right? They were on sales calls with me and we were having a talk, and I was starting to get irritated because I kept attracting flaky people on my phone calls, via email, and there's just loads of flaky people. They'd be really interested and they'd love to sign up, but then for whatever reason, after saying yes, they'd just disappear off the radar. And it was a bit of a harsh lesson, because what I realised was, if I really was being honest, I was flaky too at that point. So for whatever reason, I was attracting the same type of people that I was at the time. The second I started to really dedicate myself to being less flaky, being more committed, and being more genuine, I started to attract people who followed those guidelines as well. And this is a weird one, and it sounds like woo-woo, but for some reason, it's accurate. I think people can tell who you are from your content, from the stuff you put out to the world. And from that stuff you put out, it will attract a certain type of person. So if you be the type of client you want to attract, then you will attract the right type of client. So, 2 things to work on to attract more ideal clients. Stuff you're putting out to the world and who you are as a person. Stuff isn't easy, so worth doing. And if you want to join a group full of entrepreneurs who are looking to scale their businesses, and you want to learn how I went from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month, then have a look in the comments below. I'm going to put the group in the first comment, and you can click on there and request to join. I'll give you some free stuff as a thank you for joining the group. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you tomorrow in scale tip number 6.